Alright. That is go. I think. Maybe? Nah, it doesn't matter. What's the worst that can happen, I say? Nah, it doesn't matter. Oh, that's the worst. Get that. Mute that immediately. Cool. Okay. There. There. So I myself crystal detail because hello YouTube users each. What's poppin'? Oh again, old. Gotta finish you. Gonna get one step closer. Tastes like paint. Good evening, good evening. Poppin', how we doing tonight, gang? Team? Fam? I don't know what. Oh. Let's see, what do I need? What do I need? Models? I have paints somewhere. Are we? Here we are. Classic green. Okay. That's the paint cup. That's not what I wanted. Note to self, put this over here. Toxic paint cup over here. Do not get the two confused. That would be a problem for me. I'll just refer to you all as the masses, the collective, individual, squad, team, fam. Fam's too cool. I can't use that one. Burn my retinas on the line. Okay. Orc Commander. Working on these for a little bit. I think there's only a few minor layers of... Focus. There we go. The most of the green across the majority of the model is probably in a good spot right now. I think there's just a little bit of cleanup that needs to be done. Definitely a little bit under his chin I need. And here, little bit of, you can see a little bit of the undercoat there. But, in the grand scheme of things, I'm very close to having the green. Yeah. And once the greens are done, I can start moving on to the other fun colors. Which for me is brown. Isn't exactly the funnest color of them all. You know what? I got nothing. My orc painting process, I find very procedural. A lot of busy work I need. They're not like Space Marines for me, where, you know, I'm dealing with like really bright, phantasmical colors that are always like real fun to draw at every step of the process. Sometimes I have to do a little busy work. Sometimes I need to put in some rust, some bronze. Layer upon layer upon layer of Death Guard green. Assume I would use an orc green. That is incorrect. What do you keep cutting out? It probably does. Hold on. I swear to God I fixed this. Oh. Alright, that should probably help, I think. Yeah, my settings have been all over the place. I realized in one of the last streams that I did, my audio would just, like, keep cutting out. And I think I isolated the problem for it. I think it's just my noise gates being handled really weird. So hopefully that fixed it. If it hasn't, let me know. What am I listening to? Have you seen someone made the all-kill team into the red mercenaries from Team Fortress? I have not seen that, but that is very on brand. God, I love the weird and wacky custom paint jobs people come out with. I saw there was one the other day. I say the other day, I mean the other month, if I'm being honest. Someone made a set of, what are they? I think they're a bunch of Militarum units, but they painted them up like the Helldivers from the hit video game Helldivers. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, I love custom paint jobs that's like, you know, it's definitely not quote-unquote canonical for anything in the 40k universe or the 40k community, but it's just an art project at that point. Like, you know, we all sort of lose track of ourselves in the grim, dark universe of the 41st millennium. But at the end of the day, all we're doing is just painting weird little guys. Like, that's all it is. Like, we're just painting by numbers. The numbers that we're painting on are just fascists and madmen. Honestly, the Team Fortress color scheme for the orcs wouldn't necessarily go astray. Like, they do like their big bombastic colors. That's one of the things we love about them. And out of all the sets, I would imagine that the Commandos would probably be... That's probably be the most fitting. Like, I can definitely almost see which of the models they probably made to be each of the mercenaries. Like, one of the models has a... what do you call it? One of the models has like a beanie and a grenade launcher. That's just Demo Man core. Oh god, Team Fortress. What a time. I actually tried to reinstall Team Fortress the other week. You know, for old time's sake. It's one of those games that you always go back to, and it's like, oh yeah, I used to play this so much back in the day. I've got like 500 hours in it. And look, I know there are people out there who have been playing Team Fortress 2 for the last 20 years, or something ridiculous like that. Those people are stronger than I am. I tried playing it for like 10 minutes, and I don't know, I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it. I feel like it's a time capsule of the era. Like, people who are still playing Team Fortress probably don't play a lot of other things, but after playing more modern games, I feel like it's hard to go back to sort of that crunch of, you know, like the older games, you know what I mean? TF2 isn't doing good at the moment with the hackers and stuff. Yeah, that is also a problem. Like, when I jumped in, I didn't find any of that going on, but I felt like I was just very lucky, you know? Then again, maybe I did find them, because all I remember of the 30 minutes of Team Fortress that I played, when I went to reinstall it for a little bit, I played it for about 30 minutes, and I got my shit rocked, like the second I got into the game. Now that I think about it, they might have been hackers, but I could also pass off that they were just very good at this game that's been out for 30 years, and I am not, so... This is one of the big problems with me in video games. Like, I played a lot of video games when people, I played a lot of video games where, you know, my teammates have been, like, raging and flaming and be like, oh, they're hacking. They're deploying hacks. There's no way they could be doing this. Anytime I find myself in those situations, I just assume they're beating me because they're good. Like, I don't know if that just says more about me or the kinds of games that I'm playing, but if someone, like, twists 400 times in the air and, like, no-scopes me from the other side of the map, I usually just sit there and go, like, you know what? That was a pretty good shot. That was pretty good. I've been wanting to learn about Warhammer, but I wouldn't even know where to start. I would start by buying a starter set. That's my recommendation. Some people like to make it confusing to people who are like just getting into the hobby or just getting into any hobby recently, really. And you know, some people will be like, you have to do this, you have to do this. Like, no, you just need to buy the starter set. You need to put some little minis together. You can look up some tutorials online if you want to, you know, learn how to paint. Or you can just wing it. Just give it a go. Trust me, there's nothing more endearing than like looking back at the first minis you painted when you had absolutely no idea what you were doing and were just winging it. Like, you know, you think that people are going to be looming over your shoulder and being like, oh, that's a garbage thing that you've done. That's an awful, wretched, disgusting looking mini. But people aren't going to do that. They're just going to, like, you know, look at your unthinned paints and your, you know, your paint job, which clearly is very amateurish. And they'll just look at you and go, first time? Yeah, that'll happen. I also know for a fact that a lot of the, like, actual Warhammer stores, like Warhammer brand Warhammer stores, a lot of the times the people who work there are qualified to give you free painting lessons. And in fact, if you go in there and ask for a free painting lesson, a lot of the time, they will have free minis that you can paint. The local store that I go to, you can choose between painting a Space Marine or a Stormcast Eternal from Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and they'll be like, "Yeah, here's a free little mini. Let's build and paint it together. I'll tell you how to do it. If another customer comes in, I'll walk off and deal with them for a little bit. But they give free painting lessons, and you get a free mini." Best way to learn Warhammer is unironically memes. Well, that's good for the lore, you know. Like, it's all just information that's been passed down from person to person. Pronouns, question mark? My pronouns are he and him. I am a cisgendered man. That's me. But yeah, I feel like not everybody knows that you can go and get a free painting course at, like, I say course, it makes it sound like it's a scam. Well, scam? Maybe not. Pyramid scheme that sucks you in for life? Maybe. But yeah, Warhammer stores, like the official Warhammer stores, are usually very welcoming. I'm not sure if that's just like a corporate mandate or that's just the kind of people that end up working there, but yeah, they're usually just full of very chill people who want to, you know, talk about this thing and, you know, we'll teach you how to paint if you ask. And then eventually you'll get to a point where you maybe want to start taking it more seriously, and then from that point on, if that's something that you do want to do, then it's literally just a matter of choosing the models that you enjoy looking at, or that you enjoy slapping brushwork onto, and then painting those. That's it. You know, I mostly paint, like, I've been painting a lot of orcs recently. I have a bunch of Space Marines that I can paint. Been thinking about picking up some Necrons. Thinking about painting some Necrons. I don't think I'd have a full army of them, but maybe one or two. Maybe. Oh my god, you're Australian too? Too bloody right, mate. Melbourne born and raised, I is. That's more orc than Aussie, but you get the picture. I can see your skin pores from your HD streaming. You're welcome. Actually, probably should turn this one down a little bit. Yeah, I've got my like phone hooked up to a computer, so like I've got the good camera, the good like wireless encoder. Let's see, is my phone hot to the touch? Temperature is comfortable. I've disabled Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, so hopefully it won't overheat and, like, diminish the battery life by 50%. Hopefully. But if it does, then I just have an excuse to buy a new phone. You live an hour away from Art of the Cat? You did! I live in Canada now. You had your chance to meet me on the streets and fist fight me. Those days are gone now. I am no longer there. But no, yes, I'm a Melbourne boy, born and raised. We'll definitely go back there from time to time. Trips that I'm sure will be well documented on my various social medias. Plural. What time is it in Beaverland? It is 5:37. It is 5:37 p.m. It is Friday. So I'm like chilling the fuck out. I think I've got a stream setup that won't explode. But I'm not going to commit to that. Because maybe I'll just get narcoleptic after an hour. That happens sometimes. That has been known to happen. Okay, I think the green coverage I've got on this guy is pretty good for the time being. Although I need to, like... I almost need to, like, pull him off screen, because this is where my light is. But yeah, I think the green coverage I have here is pretty good. Any part that isn't covered green is, like, covered by his body, so I think he should be good. Here, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this man. Let's take a look at this weird little green man. Let's like bend that down a little bit. Yeah, the green coverage seems to be all right there. Yeah, there we go. Visiting your hometown is brave. I've never gone back. I love my hometown. I mean, my hometown was one of the biggest capital cities in the bloody country, so, you know, I guess it's a little different to, you know, leaving Whoop Whoop and never coming back. What prompted the move? So I could live with my partner. She got a job out here, and it was a very good one. And so I decided to tag along for the ride. A little bit of an international gallivant, an adventure, if you will. You can't fist fight me anymore. Good. I would have won. Urgh. Ow, ow, that hurt. Ow. I flexed too hard. Yeah, anyway. How many orcs have you painted so far? Let's see. Let's do the math together. Okay, so I started with the Orcs Combat Patrol, which from memory is 20 boys, 3 Death Copters, a Death Dread, and War Boss in Mega Armor. So that's 25. Jesus. Outside of that, I painted 5 Storm Boys. That brings us up to 30. So I've painted 30 in total. I've got the 10 Commandos in the pipeline, so that'll bring me up to 40, Jesus. I've got the Gretchen and Run Herd, which is another 11 models. That brings us up to 55. Oh my god. Then I've got a Dakka Jet over here, which brings me to 52. And then Gaz, which is 53. Maybe I shouldn't buy any more models. Maybe, I think I'm good, actually. I think I don't need to buy another model ever again. Yeah, it's always the worst part of any Warhammer fan's life is when they start actually doing the math on how many models they have and how much money they've spent. Stop rizzing us. Alright. No arguments here. But yeah, I like my little collection as I have it so far. I think together with all the models I have, like, I have enough to actually, like, play a proper game. I just need to finish painting the models that are still outstanding. Like, I think I could play Combat Patrol. I could potentially string together a kill team that isn't the Commandos. Maybe, maybe not. Don't quote me on that. Because I know you can play kill team with, like, not the kill team box sets. Like, even if you just have regular models, you can still play kill team. Like, I have a bunch of heavy intercessors for the Space Marines, and even though that's not a kill team box, they still have rules you can play in the kill team game, which I think is really good. Like, you know, people already have models that they might want to use, and it just gives them more ways to play. It's versatile, adaptable. I'm curious, does your Orc army as a whole have lore, or did you just do the individual personalities? This is a question I've asked myself for many years now. That's a lie. I've only been doing this for months. To me, in my mind, like, I guess I'd be hesitant to call it a headcanon because I am the master of this particular quadrant of the universe, so whatever I say goes. I guess I imagine them all as part of the same warband, so to speak. But in terms of overall lore, I think they're just a collective smattering of orcs. Like, I don't think they're bound together by any particular creed or credence. I think they're just a bunch of strangers who have essentially all just started moving in the same direction at once. Like, there's no hierarchy, there's no leader, you've got beast snaggers, you've got storm boys, you've got, you know, you've got a whole bunch of different, like, sub-factions and subtypes of orcs represented. They're all just there moving in one direction for a good time. Like, my warband is kind of like the friends of orcs. Like, they don't represent any known faction or group of individuals. They're just having sitcom adventures, and whatever happens, happens. I built and painted more guard infantry in a span of 2 weeks, so don't feel too bad. Good grief. And coming from a guard player, too, like, I know that means something. Like, they got a lot of little guys. Just a lot of little freaks running around. I know I'll pick up some guards someday, but I'm staving it off. Although the older I get, I feel like the more appealing just having a bunch of realistic tanks is. Like, I feel like once I hit my 30s, like, a switch is gonna flick into my brain, and I'm gonna be like, ah, yes! I love the aesthetic of World War II, I guess. I don't think that's going to happen. Hiya, thanks for your content. It really helps me with the confidence as a trans girl. Hell yeah! Trans rights, I say, here and now. I love that, honestly. That's... You got nothing to thank me for. All that's coming from you. You. Which one's the camera hole? That's the flashlight. That's the camera hole. You. It's gonna absolutely fuck up my focus for the rest of this, but it was worth it. I think I'm starting on the inevitable slope towards Warhammer painting and playing, but... Listen, I mean, I know a lot of people, like, talk about it being addicting. Like, it's just a hobby. Like, you're allowed to enjoy things. Like, as long as you're not buying food, and you're, you know, making sure your basic human needs are met, like, it's fine. You don't have to think so hard about it. Buy a little toy. Have a little fun. Like, that's all these guys are. These are just, like, you know, fun little toys to play with your friends. Like, somebody was saying to me, I think it was in the last, like, Instagram Q&A that I did, where they were like, I'm just starting to get into Warhammer. Is, like, am I gonna, like, you know, how long until I completely lose my social life? I think was their question. And I'm like, you're you're building pieces for a game that fundamentally requires 2 people to play. Like, if anything, this is going to increase your social life. Like, you are doing a thing that requires another person to do. What are you talking about? Now I know how the dude who got called out by Keanu Reeves felt. Hell yeah! You're breathtaking. I love that man. What a guy. Controversial opinion? I don't think. Listen, we love Keanu Reeves in this house, and I'm gonna say something that I think a lot of people aren't gonna like. We love Keanu Reeves in this house. We love him to death. We think he's great. I don't think he was the best choice of actor for Cyberpunk 2077. I think he is a good actor, man, and he is good in his roles. I don't think Cyberpunk was the right role for him. I think he is a very good actor who is very good at doing action stuff and like acting with his body and like doing all that. I think just having a purely voice role maybe wasn't the best choice. Okay, this is where several attack helicopters come out of the window and kill me, because I know that's a bad take. Cyberpunk should have been Gordon Ramsay. Well, that's a worse take, I think. Good grief. Oh, Gordon Ramsay. My girlfriend is obsessed with him. Can't get enough of him. I play Kaskin personally for Kill Team because they have super fun rules. Ooh, nice. I know of the Kaskin. Kaskin. I know of the Kaskin, but like I haven't looked too deeply into them. Like that feels to me like it's one of those Warhammer things that's a little bit lore heavy. So like I don't really know what they're talking about. Or like is it like a military thing? Is it literally just like, yes, this is a concept that previously exists, you dumb idiot. Like a Kaskin is a military man who, I don't know, rides a horse? No, the Kaskin don't ride horses. They're just sort of like weird little guys, aren't they? I don't know. I don't know anything about how military hierarchies operate, and I don't know how fantasy ones do either. I have probably about 1,500 points of unpainted Tyranids staring at me. Hey, dog. Me too, kinda. Me too. I still have, like, a whole bunch of Tyranids from the, Leviathan box set that I still need to get through. I'll do it one day. I know I'm just putting it off, but I'll do it one day. See, Tyranids are hard for me because I know you just need, like, 30 of the same guy. And, like, you don't really have a lot of options for kit bashing because their models are so perfectly themselves. You know what I mean? Like, you can't really, like, replace arms or legs or anything like that. Like, they're all built into each other. Especially after The Matrix, where they did 100... Well, that's done to 100% for the first movie. Yeah, see, Keanu, he's a great action actor. Love him to death. I think his voice acting in Cyberpunk just didn't hit the mark for me. Honestly, I think we should just do away with celebrities in voice acting roles. Like, give it to a voice actor. Please. Please? There are so many, like, talented voice actors out there that are dying for work. We don't need Chris Pratt to voice Garfield. Or Super Mario. Or Link from The Legend of Zelda. Let me put that image in your head. Wait, when do you do live streams? Whenever I feel like it. Normally I'll throw one on like 5 o'clock after work, sort of thing. I mostly just started doing them, so I'm trying to find like a good cadence and a good rhythm. But yeah, I enjoy doing them. I enjoy hanging out and chatting to people while I just, you know, idly paint and everything like that. Which is good for me because I use the standard, like, base paints and stuff. So I have to do a lot of, like, really boring, busy work sort of thing. Like, I literally just have to, like, put on, like, layer after layer of just flat color. Which is boring as hell to do. So if I can yap while I do it, everybody wins. Fun fact, Keanu co-owns a motorbike company. That is a fun fact. Holy shit. That's like... See, at least that's it. Like, I know some celebrities, like, start, like, operating their own businesses. Like, every time I see Ryan Reynolds, like, advertising as, like, fucking, like, mobile service provider, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're just building a company. That's just a company to, like... nobody gets into telecommunications for love of the game. They do it to make money. Don't be standing out here using your celebrity influence to being like, hey, gang, team, I'm gonna give you great deals because I'm a cool celebrity and I love you. No, you don't. You don't know me, Ryan Reynolds. If you did, you would have invited me to the premiere of Deadpool. The only way I'll probably end up seeing that movie. I don't know, I probably will end up seeing it at some point, just... Actually, you know what? I probably won't. I don't know. Maybe? Fuck. Hugh Jackman's in it, but I don't care about Wolverine. Okay, I can't get into this. Listen, I know that Wolverine is a beloved pop culture icon. He is not beloved to me. Bro, I want to be a voice actor so bad. God, yes. Like, that's... I know that's, like, a really big dream for a lot of people. And, like... I mean, I'm just thankful we live in a time where... You know, we have things like TikTok. We have things like YouTube. Like, if you want to, like, cut your teeth on, you know, any kind of creative performance or creative hobby, you can just do that. Like, you can just, like, open up TikTok and do, like, cool, funny little voices. Build a portfolio of stuff that you do on your own. The time is now. Yap away, I'm enjoying the stream. Fuck yes. Mission accomplished. I'm getting a good grade in stream. Something that is healthy to want and possible to achieve. I feel like Kingpin and Boombox would have a fun dynamic. I love the fact that people refer to the dumb little characters I made by name. Because that reminds me that I've done things in my life, which is kind of a scary, confronting fact. Literally anytime I post something on the internet.org, I literally just shoot it off into the void, and I immediately forget about it. So when people come out here and they'll be like, hey, remember this, like, funny little orc character you made on this one video that you posted online for the world to see? My immediate reaction is, what the fuck are you talking about? How did you get into my house? How do you know about these things? I'm assembling men-at-arms as we speak. I'm going to assume, for my own sanity, that refers to a bunch of fantasy wargaming miniatures that you're building, and not the fact that you're putting together an armed militia for devious purposes. I don't need you to confirm this. My belief is going to stay steadfast in the latter rather than the former. Then you remember you made a video? Yeah, I remember I made a video and then it, like, attacks me like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. Just, ah! No, it's more like a That's So Raven flashback where I'm just confronted with my own friggin' actions. Is this spilled? I feel like I don't have as much Seraphim Sapir as I should. No, I probably just used it. Yes, totally not an armed militia. Well, I'm taking that as verbal confirmation. You are not going to ruin my night by planning a coup. And if you are, keep it to yourself. Okay, I gotta put the Goth Gore Brown out of this fucking bag because I'm looking for one brown and I keep not finding it. Oh, fuck, there it is. Mornfang brown. The most important color to me that is absolutely not going to focus. And that's fine. That was probably really loud and close to the microphone. I apologize. Do you like snakes? Does anybody like snakes? I mean, that's a... Okay, I immediately think about it for like more than 1 second, and people do like snakes. A lot, actually. I have known snake weirdos. And that's fine. More power to them. More power to them. If you wanna bring a snake into your home, or like a spider, or a large crab of some kind, you have absolutely the power to do so. I am just not coming over for dinner. NoFace09 asks, who is your favorite band? My favorite band, for me, while I have many, I would probably say the band that gets the most play out of me on a regular basis is the symphonic metal band Gloryhammer. Now, if you know the sound and tone of the band Gloryhammer, you will immediately know, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds like a band this absolute weirdo would definitely be into. And you're right. It's got the synths, it's got the, like, the epic orchestra bits in some places. It's all like... Gloryhammer. It's my kind of show. Okay, so there's currently a coup being planned in my chat right now, and I just want to say for the FBI agent that's going to be watching this, I'm not affiliated with them. Okay, let's see. How am I going to do this? How am I going to paint you, you weird little bastard? I would have guessed Fall Out Boy or something like that. I mean, listen, I get down to quote-unquote normie pop as much as the rest of them. But, like, I don't know, I feel like me listening to like normie pop playlists, I almost think of it as market research. Like, I make stuff on TikTok. I feel like I need to be down with what the trendy songs are. So if I find an idea for a funny dance video, I guess I can do it, you know? I'm not gonna do a funny dance video. You are German 985 if he was human. That... I feel like that's insulting, but I can't tell to who. So I'm gonna live in a beautiful little world of ignorance where it's not to me. So instead I say thank you. Ooh, I'm starting to put a second color on this thing, and it is immediately looking so much more finished. Look at that. He's got some brown on him. Wrong, you're an Aussie, so your favorite band has to be AC/DC. No, it doesn't. I mean, AC/DC is pretty good, but, like, okay. We don't have to like Akadaka, alright? Are they even Australian? I'm thinking of Kiss, actually. That shows you just what my musical knowledge is about. It's goddamn awful is what it is. Good grief. No, it has been a running joke that my, you know, Spotify, like, playlists, or like my, what do you call it? The Wrapped playlists. They are just, like, absolutely all over the place every year. Like, if you trace back my top songs on my Spotify Wrapped over, like, the last, like, 5 years, it'll be, you know, the theme song to the hit British anime, Wallace and Gromit. After that, it will be a sea shanty cover of a Nickelback song. After that, it will be, like, one of those, like, YouTube pop songs that they make about Five Nights at Freddy's games. Last year it was Glory Hammer, though. They dropped a new album that I absolutely, like, really played to death and still do. So, my last year's Wrapped playlist was at least a little bit normal, as far as normal could be for me. I'm like that one guy from that one video who gets the pills that make him normal, I guess. Who is the guy who, like, did the animated music video that got a doctor's note that said, "You are not normal"? Oh, was that Dream? Fuck. I take that back. Akadaka is the most Aussie thing that I've ever heard. That's what we call them! An Australian will lie to you about many things, but Akadaka is the common colloquial reference for the band AC/DC. What about ICP? I think I tried to listen to an ICP song like once in my life, and I was like, you know what? This isn't for me, but I enjoy the fact that you are singing about, like, brutalizing pedophiles with a hatchet. So you know what? Credit where it's due. You know? I respect the clowns. Like, they're not for me. Their exact brand of whatever shit they got going on isn't my kind of thing. But the fact that they are very pro-social, the fact that they put all of their shows on hold during COVID because, and I quote, they refuse to put even a single Juggalo life at risk, gives them my eternal respect. You got this, Insane Clown Posse. My rap is 10% Glory Hammer, 10% video game soundtracks, and the rest of the stuff I play for D&D games. God, that's so true. I keep meaning to make a joke every year where it's like, pour one out for the DMs whose Spotify Wrapped has been irreversibly changed by having to manage the soundtrack for a D&D game. It's just all Jeremy Soule and all Borislav Slavov, who are, of course, the musical composers for the Elder Scrolls and Divinity Original Sin 2 / Baldur's Gate 3, respectively. There's a little bit of musical knowledge for you. See, now that I'm running D&D games again, I am absolutely going to fall back in that boat. My Spotify, like, on repeat, is just going to be the same Divinity Original Sin 2 soundtrack songs. Like, again and 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 again. My Wrapped had Pro and Ant... American Civil War Union song, Lady Gaga and Metallica. That's music, baby. That's what we love about music. It brings people together. We love the absolutely random, ramshackle tastes that we get. There is nothing more beautiful than just going through somebody's, like, liked songs list on Spotify, because it's all just, like, absolutely random stuff. I almost feel like you shouldn't look at it in a lot of places. Like, I feel like it's almost deeply intimate and personal. Like, looking at their default Spotify playlist is like looking into their internet search history. Like, it's there, but you shouldn't look at it. That's just a violation of some manner of privacy. My most played song for spring was Jim Curry's Sweet Transvestite. I've been told I should watch that film. I cannot imagine why people are telling me this. That was underwhelming. So, I found your channel and scrolled everything. Your content is deeply relatable for me. I know what you are. And you are welcome here. What a first impression to make. Hey, how about we antagonize people? No. There's a unit in 40k that has a dreadnought. There is a unit in 40k that has a dreadnought chair. What do you think of that? Is that a chair made of dreadnoughts, or a chair that one would put in a dreadnought? Well, I guess you wouldn't put a chair in a dreadnought, because that's just a coffin. A coffin that you don't want to be in, because it's a coffin that makes you insane. I'm just imagining a guy that, like, sits on the big dreadnought. Yay! I can never understand how some people have less than 1,000 liked songs. They just haven't had the time. I will say, though, some people, like, aren't really into music curation. Like, they'll just listen to whatever song they want at the time. That's kind of the boat that I'm in right now. Like, I think it's been, like, a couple of months since I've added a song to a playlist. I'm always just like, what do I feel like at the moment? And then I'll just listen to, like, one random album that comes to mind. What was my one recently? I feel like there was one I just did recently. My phone is there. I can't look at it because it's being used in a very important technological way. I love your little shorts of Warhammer, and they love you. Each one of these guys loves and cares for you deeply. Is that gonna focus? Yeah. Each one of them loves and cares for you deeply. Do not let them down. Focus! There we go. I have to, like, Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare the camera every now and again just to get it resynced. Sunk? One of the two. Wow, Google, you gave me just what I needed. They know! They know what you are. And they will use that information to advertise to you. I won't, because nobody has given me money to advertise things to people yet. That's a lie. Like, people have, I think, I've got some, like, influencer emails that, you know, could have been potentially, like, interesting leads for me. There's actually one company that was, like, reached out to me for a couple of products, and they were, like, a beauty and skincare company, and, like, they seemed pretty legit. Like, they had, like, Amazon listings and everything like that. They were a smaller brand, so, like, I hadn't heard of them before, but they seemed pretty real. And they were like, hey, can we give you some, like, free, like, beauty supplies so you can, like, do a video about them and, like, give them a bit of a review or something? And I was like, you know what? Like, sure, like, this is on brand for me. Like, I like beauty and skincare and, like, all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, send them over. And then they were like, great, sure. Just so you know, like, there might be, like, a little bit of, you know, import tax that you'll have to pay, but we'll still send you everything for free. You know, we'll still send you everything for free, but there might just be a little bit of a tax you need to pay, sort of thing. And so immediately I was like, I see your game, weird internet company. Blocked from my email list. You're a scam. Get out of here. I have since learned that import tax is a very real thing that you have to pay in Canada, that you do not have to pay in Australia. So they might not have actually been lying to me. It has been far too long since I received and ignored those emails that there is simply no going back now. Fumbled the bag. Absolutely fumbled the bag. The Dreadshed's name is Inquisitor Karamazov. That sounds like an Inquisitor's name to me. I don't know what it is about it, but that's an inquisitorial name. I've never played Warhammer, but I would 100% start if every Warhammer play. Hey, if you want to find those people, just go outside. Like, listen, Warhammer fans come in two varieties. I have found, and when I say Warhammer fans, I mean like Warhammer fans that I've seen out in the wild. The people you find on the internet who are into Warhammer simply are not real and do not exist. Right? The Warhammer fans I have seen out in the real world are either, you know, 40 to 50-year-old boomers who have been doing this since the 80s and you know, were alive when Top Gun was coming out in cinemas and were old enough to appreciate it, or they are anarcho-socialist trans women who will send a pipe bomb to the president if you ask them nicely. There is no in between. There's absolutely no in between. If you're into Warhammer, you are either fascist or you are somebody who will punch a fascist. So this video while scrolling and just stop everything. Well, I am glad that the algorithm is working. You know, I heard YouTube saying that, like, hey, we're going to be pushing, like, vertical live streams for mobile environments. And I'm like, you can't possibly be doing that. Then the last couple of vertical live streams I did was, like, 7,000 views, 8,000 views. Whoa. Okay, shit, maybe Google wasn't lying to me for once. Algorithm called me queer before I even realized. Yeah, it'll do that. It'll do that. Can you crack an egg on your head for $10? No. I don't do things for money. Well, actually, that's a lie. I post really annoying things about my hobby on the internet, and then I tell people that if they want me to do these really annoying things, they have to send me $40. And so everyone was yelling at me that I didn't drill out my barrel holes on any of my models. And so I said, if you want me to drill out my barrel holes on my models, you need to personally send me $40 to my PayPal, so I will buy the drill and then drill my models. But until that day comes, I will never drill a single barrel hole. Guess what happened? Guess. So listen, if you want me to do something, just send me money, like, you know. I guess that's the lesson you take away from this. I am easy to manipulate. I feel called out by the Warhammer community. I mean, hey, when you're here, you're family. That's what we say. What is your favorite online game? That is an excellent question. I don't play online games that much anymore. I got kinda into Helldivers for a little bit. Although, to be honest, I tried to actually refund Helldivers when they did the whole, like, Sony account sort of thing. Because I was like, alright, like, I enjoyed playing this game for a little bit, but I don't think that it's... Well, first of all, my computer can't really run it super good, so it was like, okay, I'm not really having a super grand time with this. But they wouldn't refund me because I played too much of it. I'm like, you know what? That's fair. I was trying to exploit a system and a situation that was out of my control, and I know that I was already pressing my luck, so that's fine. But in terms of my favorite online game, I'd probably, like... I have a lot of staples. Like, I always go back to Apex Legends every now and again. Although, right now, I don't have a proper, like, gaming setup. Like, I just have the Steam Deck, so I can only really play it in the handheld mode. Which is really hard to play really fast-paced Battle Royale shooters on. So... I would say right now my favorite online game is Bloons Tower Defense 6, because that has online stuff, I guess. That counts. And that will be my answer that I'm sticking to. What am I doing? Oh lord, they spent $40? Yes! Somebody sent me $40, so I would buy a drill. A drill for my models. It was a joke that I made, and someone was like, just do it, coward. And so I guess I had no choice. Like, listen, if I put out, like, a joking challenge on the internet that's like, give me 40 American dollars and I will do this thing, I kind of have to do it. You know? I kind of have to. Hello, YouTube user Gay Peanut Butter. How we doing? What's poppin'? All the algorithm gives me is cross-dressing Reddit posts and niche tutorials for games like Besiege. Does it now? Interesting. Then we saw a barrel drill shot right before this. Hell yeah! At least it's getting out there. See, every now and again, like, one of what I feel like is my privileges as an internet man, as a content creator, is that, like, I'm at the point where I can do, like, almost like inside jokes now, I guess. Which I feel very privileged to do. Like, every now and again I can just make a bunch of jokes that's like, this is only funny if you've seen other videos that I've done. And to be able to get to a point where I can do that, I feel like is a privilege that I do not wish to take for granted. Like, a little while back, there was a sort of video series that I was doing where I would just lie about my height in every video that I would do, and it was just a long stream of videos of me standing next to weirdly sized things so nobody could tell how tall I was, and to this day, nobody has gotten it right. I want to learn Warhammer lore so bad. I love the Ravenel Omnibus, but I didn't stand it at all. One of the things that actually got me back into Warhammer after, like, painting some models as a teen, but not really getting into it that much, was the podcast Adeptus Ridiculous, which is a fun little podcast from some Warhammer boys, where they talk about Warhammer lore. And it's literally one of them teaching their friend who doesn't know anything all about Warhammer. And so, yeah, Adeptus Ridiculous would 100% recommend that. End of sentence. That's how I got into the lore and stuff like that. And I think it's also a really good consumer-friendly way for you to get into the lore, because I feel like Warhammer has this really, like, weird thing where, like, some of the times in their, like, books and stuff, like, the lore is in the books. Like, that's kind of it, right? But they sort of straddle this fine line of having the books be, like, you know, really rewarding to people who know the lore, and, like, full of inside jokes or, like, things that you would only know if you've established the lore prior. But because those are the only places you really get the lore of the game, it's kind of like, you need to understand it to understand the book, but you can't understand it if you don't know the lore, but the lore's also in books. So it's kind of a weird little, like, no-win race. Which is why podcasts like Adeptus Ridiculous are so helpful, because it's just a bunch of people telling you about lore. And then memes. It's all conveyed through memes. Like, that's it. That's it. I'll guess like 5'10", probably 6'1". If either of those are true, you wouldn't know from me. I mean, I wouldn't confirm or deny. I pretend I said something that worked. Gonna go now? Your stream's chill and try to catch the next one? Hell yeah! Go sleep. Or do the things that you wish to do. Have a wonderful life. I said that kind of threateningly. Have a wonderful life. Biggest improvement I found playing FPS games on the Steam Deck was getting used to the trackpads and gyro controls. Gyro controls have been insane for me. Like, absolute game changer, 100%. Ugh. Cracking a cold one. Are you the orc guy? Is that what I am? Am I the orc guy? Is that all I am? Probably. Do you plan on Warhammer such old-fashioned becoming your thing? I mean, this is a thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, because it's like, you know, I'm just a guy who does stuff, you know? I think content creators a lot these days are very, like... It's a weird space. Like, you straddle a fine line between, you know, being someone who does a thing, or, like, just being a person who exists, sort of thing. And, like, I don't know, like, people, you know, people see me and they're like, oh, you're the orc guy. Or, like, you're the alternative fashion guy. Like, you know, they sort of, like, boil you down to those kinds of traits and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, you don't get to become the orc guy or the fashion guy until you do those things. You know what I mean? So, what am I trying to say? Like, I do those things because I enjoy them, and I found out that I enjoyed those things because I did them. And so as time goes on, I'm going to continue doing those things that I enjoy, but I'm also going to try and do other things that I also might enjoy. So, you know, I enjoy doing alternative fashion. I enjoy, you know, painting Warhammer and orcs and, you know, all of that stuff. Am I going to be that forever? Maybe, maybe not. Like, there might come a time where it sort of, like, moves to the periphery, or I, like, start doing something else. Maybe there's a time where I just don't find it interesting or fun anymore. Like, before I did this, I made webcomics. I ran a webcomic that I updated every day for 5 years. An exercise in futility.tapass.com. You know, I made webcomics about penguins. You know, I ran a Tumblr account where I would post, like, you know, comics about mental health. Like, I was a webcomic guy. Like, that was what I used to be, and I don't do that anymore. But I was still that person, and I am still that person now, sort of thing. I just do different things. So am I going to be the orc guy forever, and am I going to be the old-fashioned guy forever? No. But I'm going to be Ethan all throughout the way, you know? Like, 100% of the time, no matter what, I am going to be Ethan. And that is, at the end of the day, the most important thing to me. I have no idea what the original question was. Can I ask, what are your pronouns? My pronouns are he and him. I am a cisgendered man. That's me. There we go. I just got this brush the other day and I already feel it starting to, like, fray and fuck up. Thank you, just so you know, I'm the orc guy too. We are reduced to our base components on the internet. On the internet, we are reduced to that one thing that we do, or that person that we look like. Everybody who comes into here is like, you're the orc guy, you're the funny clothes man. Or like, you're the bootleg Jim Carrey, you're the bootleg Henry Cavill, which is one that I get a lot that I simply do not see. Or, more frustratingly, you're one of 3 other YouTubers who also exist, all of whom have been convicted of sex crimes at some point in their life. Living on the internet is just a constant stream of people telling you you look like... Being on the internet is just a constant stream of people telling you you are something or you look like something. That's it. Don't put your face online, kids. Orc webcomic win. I don't know, man. I don't draw that much anymore. I've really been meaning to get back into it, but, like, it's hard to do. I don't have the same vim and vigor that I have for it. I don't know why I did this. Most basest ender Australian I've ever seen. I'll take it. I'll take it. I am the most based. The BBNO song It Boy? That was about me. You have been reduced to the guy with the incredible style. Hey, look, it ain't a bad thing to be reduced to. I take it as a compliment. And if it's not a compliment, keep it to yourself. I've seen his stuff around various platforms. Just want to say I love your stuff, and it loves you. That's why it follows you around on every platform you go to. It knows you. It yearns. It's a heat-seeking missile meme. Okay. Sometimes I just say things. That's my problem. There's 8 billion people. I can't know them all. I was gonna say you do look a lot like young Jim Carrey. Yeah, I know. Let's see, what do we do? What do we do? Is Jim Carrey and Jay Schlatt all at the same time? I know one of those names. Anytime somebody, like, brings up a new name to me that I've never heard of before, my, like, fight or flight response kicks in. Because sometimes people will say, like, oh, you look like this person. And I go, like, oh, I wonder who that is. And then I look them up. Sex criminal. It is an upsettingly frequent occurrence. What does my shirt say? That is an excellent question. It's mirrored. I absolutely cannot read it. Hold on. Actually, you know what? I can see it in real life. It's probably easier. Sumo. I couldn't tell you. This shirt does not belong to me. I did not buy it. I stole it from the laundry basket because it's warm and I wanted to have my arms out. Sumo Psycho? Probably. I don't think Psycho's a real... Oh, you know what? It probably is Psycho, but just spelled weird. Ah, see, there we go. We got the confirmation. Sumo Psycho. There we go. I'm a fake fan, clearly. I don't know what I'm talking about. Gun show. What do we got here? Ow. Ow. Owie. Ow. I didn't like that. I did that too hard. I go, ow. Ow. My bones hurt. I got too into it. Hey, bro, how are you? I'm doing good, bro. My dude? Bud? Bud's probably a stretch too far. I apologize for that. Okay. Let's see. How am I gonna paint this guy? Let me just put him up there for a bit. Let's see. So I want to keep the commandos to a similar. Excuse me. I want to keep them to a similar color scheme of my previous orcs, which is, you know, the Mornfang brown leather, with like the Rhinox hide, so like the Rhinox hide, like, not highlights, but like, it's the other brown. There's two browns that they use. But I think for this guy, because he's the leader of the bunch, I think I'm gonna make his jacket, like his outer jacket, Rhinox hide. And the inner sort of... but he's got like belts and stuff, which I normally like Rhinox hide as well. What am I gonna do with you? So many decisions. Oh, hey, you're live. Hi, Ethan. Hi, Ethan! What's poppin'? Ooh, what if I make his jacket yellow? Ooh. What are you going for? I'm not going for a particular orc faction, I'm not going for any, like, particular orc faction that exists. For me, the orcs that are most memorable to me are the orcs from Space Marine, like the video game Space Marine, because that was, like, the first Warhammer thing that, like, I ever was, like, involved in, or that I ever, like, experienced, I suppose. And they were all wearing, like, brown leathery sort of stuff. So when I think orc, that's really what I think. So I just wanted to go for, like, a basic brown, rusty color scheme. And where I needed it, I would do, like, yellow highlights. And I think that was a really... I think that's a really good complementary sort of color scheme. Like, the sort of brown and yellow. Which I guess is just the football team Richmond Tigers. I grew up in a Tiger household. We love those guys. Magnetized bases, I love those for playing. None of my bases are magnetized because I don't know how to do that. And I don't know where to buy magnets. Get off my ship, Space Marine. I love how they talk. In that game, especially. Magnets on anything are just super satisfying. I'm sure they are. But, like, I know I'm gonna have to, like, travel around with them a lot, and if I, like, move countries again, I'm gonna have to bring them. I feel like the magnetization is just gonna, like, be a problem with TSA. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put sort of the brown... Actually, you know what? I might make, because he's wearing like a jacket with like an undershirt on it, right? Is an undershirt with like straps on it. But if I was thinking of maybe putting like a Wraithbone, like, what's the singlet sort of thing, like wife beater? A singlet, I guess is a better word for that. I was thinking of doing like a Wraithbone singlet, but building up white on black, you just gotta do so many layers, and it's already, like, really annoying to do. A Tower player was teaching me the ropes, and his crisis suits were magnetizing for swapping them up. Hell yeah. The Tower are really good for that, I know that. Like, vehicles are really good for magnetization. Like, I don't think it's as good for just regular weedy guys. Like, what am I gonna magnetize to him? Am I gonna, like, rip his head off? Retractable heads? There's a bunch of free magnets in your car's alternator. What if I had a car? Or an alternator to rip things out of? Sounds weird, but it's been in my brain. It's wife beater. That's a habit that I picked up. Because normally in Australia we say singlets, which I think is just a nicer way of putting it. Rock'em sock'em orcs. Yeah, let's make them bright red and bright blue. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I think for the other, like, bigger boss knobs that I built for the boys, I think they still have the same, like, light brown... Yeah, like, they still have the same light brown leather for their... Oh god, the lighting there is terrible. But yeah, he's definitely got, like, a coat of shade paint, but his jacket's still leathery brown. You can see, like, the darker brown on his power claw is Rhinox hide, where the lighter leathery brown is Mournfang brown. So maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'll just make his jacket, I'll just make his jacket, what do you call it? Light brown. Whatever. Whatever. He is the man. That's right. Okay, I'm just yapping now. Procrastinating. I'm gonna clean up my friggin' brush. Let's see. If I paid you $40, would you magnetize your bases? It has been established that I will simply do anything for $40. Do with that information what you will. I can tell I'm just going to log on to my, like, bank account after this, and I'm just going to see $40 in there with the caption that simply reads feet. No question mark. It's a directive. No. I think the hallmark of quote-unquote making it on the internet is having a foot guy. I had a foot guy once. He overstepped. I had to deal with that. It didn't become funny anymore. There's a bug in here. Get out of there. Excuse me. I don't know if that got picked up. If it did, I apologize. close. Learn pole dancing for 40 USD. I mean, I've considered it. Like, it's a core workout, and like that's what really appeals to me about it. Like there's a couple of like pole fitness places. I mean, I lived in Melbourne where there was a bunch of them, so I guess it was a little bit more like normalized where I was. And so it's like, is that great for the core? You look like something. That's the most ominous one I've got yet. Like, normally it's very pointed with how they're with how I'm trying to be referred to as other things. When somebody just says, you, something, that's ominous. And I hate it. Melbourne? I'm so sorry. Hey! Spoken like a true Sydneyite. Gugh. Let's see. Why do they call it an oven when you off in the cold food and out hot? So true. I fucking love that bit. It's so stupid. I don't even know if it has like a proper, or is it just like that one weird like Garfield meme that we just all know through collective consciousness? Why do they call it off when you put the hot food in off? My new life goal is to memorize that just so I can say it verbally. How much to start a guardsman army? The entirety of the Cadian Defense Force Battle Force kit. Listen, if you want me to like start building and collecting like a certain faction that is like important to you specifically for some reason, buy me toys. Buy me models. I have to stop saying things like that because people will end up doing it, and then I'll be like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry." Like I even feel bad about the I feel kind of bad about the model drill because like I know somebody I obviously know that the person who like sent me money to buy a model drill, like it was a joke. Like it was all like part of a funny little internet haha bit that I did. But now I almost feel like there's a moral obligation for me to use the drill, whereas I almost like don't want to do that out of spite. Just fully. Would you rather have unlimited bacon and no games, or unlimited games but no games? See, you got it wrong, okay? It's would you rather have unlimited bacon and no games, or games, unlimited games, but no games. You got to say the game. You got to say the games twice. If you don't have the same like TikTok for you page as I do, I'd probably just sound insane. You will never beat the war against the Grey. That is either in reference to the like ever-expanding pile of shame people have in Warhammer, or maybe it's a point about how age comes for us all and our hair goes grey eventually. Which, when that happens, I'm just dyeing it all silver. That's my go-to. Vegan masochism. My stupid brain has absolutely no idea what that's in reference to. It's probably in reference to something that just happened that we just talked about it, but I've already forgotten. My central nervous system is held together with duct tape and prayer. Okay, I'm absolutely botching this layer of brown. Look at that. Look at how like, yeah. Look at those splotches. See how like all watery it is there? Evil. Have you ever really been far even as decided to even go want to do look more like? My favorite one of those like stupid like rambling copy pasta things is the one with a kid. It was just like, would you how would do you know what you would where you when and you could do anything. Like, I can't remember exactly what he says, but he ends it with like, you could do anything. Chuckle sandwich for the win. I am a chuckle sandwich. And baby, it's lunchtime. What does that mean? Adult Swim infomercials Mars. That is unintelligible to me. I have no idea what hieroglyphs you just put in my general direction. Listen, sometimes you have to communicate with me as though I am a 50-year-old man, because deep inside my heart, I am. I don't know what the kids are into these days. I don't know what the lingo is. I know Duolingo is what all the kids are raving about right now, I guess. Couldn't tell you why. But I know that a big funny mascot man is on my TikTok feed. And listen, I don't know what's cool, I don't know what's hip, I don't know what's jive. Have you ever had a dream that you go, yes, that's it, that's the one. I love that. I just conked my finger, owie. Everyone's just talking to each other. Yeah, it's just talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna sit here in silence for a little bit. Oh, I was gonna like swivel around the other way to put the back of my chair forward. That didn't work because there's cables everywhere, and I would have ripped something out of the wall. I would have been electrocuted and died. There's so much stream delay that we're talking to each other. Honestly, I think I can turn that down. Originally, I think the last words. When I first tried to like stream using like an actual computer setup, when I first tried to actually use a computer setup, there was like a really long delay because of just how the encoder settings were. I tried to minimize that a little bit, and I think I can minimize it more. Good grief. A man gets into a car accident. God. I saw a car accident today. Was it yesterday? Probably. I think everyone lived. Hello, YouTube user Hufflepuffy. What's poppin'? I'm sitting around painting. Painting my little toys. Painting my little green men. Okay. I think this layer of brown is getting better and better with each brush stroke. Okay, let's see. How's that looking? Yeah, it's got like brown little jacket. If it wasn't an accident, would it be called a car purpose? So deep. So much to think about. Intelligence. What am I doing? No! Car intentional. Love that. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna let you dry for a little bit because I kinda botched up the first layer of brown on this guy. So I'm just gonna like leave him off to the side a little bit. Just let him cool off, dry off, gather a bit of dust. Just gonna absolutely wreck the paint job. Gonna pull down my skirt a little bit. And move on to the next one. This whole hobby revolves around people painting expensive plastic to make up at a fraction of a huge army. Listen, don't think about the cost. Don't think about the cost, just think about how much cool fun you'll have playing a tabletop game with random strangers at the store that you like to go to. Ugh. It is called a hobby for a reason. You're absolutely right. That is absolutely right. Okay, time to put on the second layer of the most boring brown known to man. 3D printing units. Watch out, Games Workshop. One day I'll buy a 3D printer. Not for a good long time, but, you know. I've always wanted to, like, do cool 3D stuff. Like, the fact that you can just, like, make 3D models and, like, put them into a machine that makes them real. I'm gonna build a gun. I'm not gonna do that. Hey, IRS guy who's watching... IRS? Hey, FBI guy who's watching me? I'm not gonna 3D print a gun. I am gonna cheat on my taxes, though. Which I can say, because you're not the IRS. Warhammer 401k. Oh, good grief. Listen, it's expensive, but we like it. We like it, okay? That's the thing we need to keep reminding ourselves. We enjoy it. We like it. We like the funny little men that we paint. They make our little brains go, ooh. If I sent you 3D printer money, would you 3D print minis? Listen, that's going to be a little more expensive than $40. I'm going to need you to send me enough money to purchase a 3D printer, and I'm also going to need you to send me enough money so that I may buy a house that can accommodate having a room for 3D printing. Because where I live now, the fumes would kill me, my partner, and her dog. And probably the people who live next to us, and neighbors as well. Yes, the 3D printing fumes is something I do not have an answer for at the moment. Unless I just have a 3D printer just out in the yard. Will you put your Warhammer figurines in your will? No, I will not. I am going to... They will be buried with me. I'm going to melt them down, and the acrylic and plastic is going to make up the coffin that I will be buried in. I'm going to melt them down to an Aquila, and I'm going to put that on my chest, and I'm going to be buried like a space marine. Good evening, YouTube user Roman. What's happening? Huff them like they're the Steam Deck vents dead. Hey, that's so real. That is so real. Anytime I'm using my Steam Deck and it's like starting to whir and like it's like venting all the air out the top, I cannot stop myself from just going, what is happening in my animal brain in here that's making me do that? I should not be doing that. It's fumes. It's fumes. I'm gonna die if I keep huffing the Steam Deck vent exhaust. I am truly an animal by any other name. Okay, I've kind of like... I always make my paints a little too watery, which is fine, but it just means I have to like go and give them like 4 different coats of the same color. Like I have to build it up and up and up and up and up. Everyone's like, oh, 2 thin coats. No, I'm doing like 7 minuscule ones. Can't be bad for you, it's Steam. Ugh. It's true, they make it smell good for a reason. Let's see, what are we doing? What are we doing here? How's he looking? How is he looking? There we go. His sort of like chest thing is sort of like a bunch of sort of like brown leather straps. So a lot of the acrylic paint that I'm using is sort of pooling into those recesses. That's a proper gear. That's right. Warhammer 40,000 Orc Commandos from the Kill Team box set. We love him, baby. Steam Deck vent set. Good grief. It doesn't even smell. It's just warm air that's being blasted by video games. It smells like... It's like Huff and Gamer fumes. Huff and Gamer stank. Like, back when I had a desktop PC, I didn't go in there and just go... I would have done that, actually. Knowing me. That sounds like a weird thing I would do. Okay. Ah! I fucked up. I got brown on his green skin. Shit. Oh, well. The perfume of the Omnissiah. Vent fumes. Those Mechanicus freaks are just huffing vent fumes 24/7, and you know it. That's all their little, like, reliquaries is. Need some cologne that's just car smell. That's just Axe. That's just boy smell. That's just boy body spray. Good cuss. Can I ban the word swag? I'm gonna ban the word swag in my chat. If you say swag, you're banned from my channel. It's just a Steam Deck on a string. This is a relic of the old world. Okay. Moving on to this one now. Let's see, where is he? I like this knife, man. He's simple. If I send you money, would you also buy a webcam? I have a webcam. It's just my telephone. I don't know. I'm sort of a. I'm definitely leaning up. What? I'm definitely leaning into the whole like vertical live stream game now. Like YouTube says that's the thing that they're pushing, and so like I decided to give it a shot. You know, if Google says it's good, it has to be good, right? And it's just a really quick, easy thing for me to set up. I don't really have like a super like nice working space. Like if you could see what my desk looks like right now, it's shameful, quite frankly. He made webcomics on Tapas. That says a lot about his history already. I don't know what that's implying, and I'm scared to ask. I'm just a little guy. It's not so good when you accidentally scroll up and see something atrocious. Well, that is based on your search algorithm, I would imagine. Nobody chooses what content they see on the internet anymore. It is all pushed in front of you against your will. That is a bug that just tried to fly in my mouth. Yuck. I can't read Homestuck. Anybody who complains about Homestuck has definitely read Homestuck before. I tried at one point. I just like, you know, I read a couple of pages of it, and I was like, hey, this is kind of weird. I don't get what everyone's talking about. And then everyone said, no, you have to actually start at this section. And then I was like, okay, immediately I'm not going to do that. If your thing cannot be enjoyed in chronological order, as it is presented, then I'm just not going to do that. I'm reading the Horus Heresy right now, and everyone is being like, oh, you gotta like start with this one. You gotta skip this one. You gotta like, you do this to make it like chronological. No, I'm gonna read Horus Heresy Book 1. I'm gonna read Horus Heresy Book 2. And then I'm gonna read Horus Heresy Book 3. And then I'm gonna read Horus Heresy Book 4. And so on and so forth until I get to episode 37, The End and the Death Part 2. As God intended. Oh, but some of the books are just filler. I'm sorry. Some of the books are just narrative of this like broad expanding world that I actively want to read about? And you're complaining like that's a bad thing? What's up, broski? Just subscribed? Hell yeah! Welcome to the team. I expect your first report on my desk by Monday. Starting out of chronological order should be a sin. Like, come on. Like, at the very least, you should be, like, assuming people are going to do that. The one that really pisses me off is, like, Star Wars The Clone Wars, where it's like, oh, no, you have to watch it in this, like, really random, arbitrary order for blah, 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 blah. No. I'm going to start with episode 1, and then I'm going to get to the end. Will I be seeing these newly painted guys tomorrow? Probably not, because it takes me a very long time to do these things. Not only because I start yapping about Star Wars on the internet, but I do lots of really thin coats, and I take my time. I could be quicker. Arguably, I should be quicker. But I'm not, and I don't. So, I don't know. I have no excuse. I know I should be quicker at painting, but I like to take my time with it. I like to hang out. I like to zone out. I like to yap. That's it. That's why The Infinite and the Divine is the only good book. Okay, The Infinite and the Divine, it's one of the good books. There's other good books. I actually just finished reading The Twice Dead King. The second one, the both of them. And they're good too. Like, they're obviously not as good as The Infinite and the Divine. The Infinite and the Divine is much more, like, contained. The Twice Dead King is a little bit more expansive. Like, it definitely, like, you definitely feel like you're building the world around it. But the second book has some strange pacing issues that I don't think really pay off all that well. But still fun, and I enjoyed it. What Imperial Knight would you use? The big one. I don't know that there's any... I don't know what the difference between the Imperial Knights are. I know there's like a Knight Castellan. That one. Brutal Cunning's a good book. I have heard that, and I am looking to read that one. I'm either looking to read... I'm currently reading Tales of Heresy, which is the first like short story collection in the Horus Heresy series. But Brutal Cunning is on my list to read, as well as whatchamacallit, Da Big Wa, the one with like oof tack, big mouth, whatever it's called. The correct way to watch the Clone Wars is to watch odd episodes first, then the even ones, then skip the ones divisible by 4. Hey, that very well could be true, and I hate that. But have you read any of the Night Lords books? People keep saying this. I've read I have the first Night Lord book. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay. My partner's phone alarm started going off, and I wanted to put him on blast. Every now and again, there's always an alarm that goes off in this room that starts blaring the American Dad theme song. And I wouldn't have it any other way. But yes, what was I fucking yapping about? Night Lords. I've read like the first maybe hour or two of the first Night Lords book, because I listen to them on like audiobooks and stuff like that. And like, it's good. Like, I just sort of skipped out. I just sort of skipped it out for the Twice Dead King because that was a little bit more my style. And like, everyone says the Night Lord books are really good, but I guess I just don't really have that affinity for the Night Lords yet. Like, it's interesting, like, reading about like a chapter or a faction that that I don't know about, because it means I can learn things, you know? But at the same time, like, I just don't really have, I guess, the nostalgia for them. Like, I will read, like, I'll be reading about the Night Lords in their big battles, and I'm like, yeah, these guys are scary, but, like, I don't really know who they are. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where you from? I'm from Melbourne, Australia, mate. Been looking into some 40k Guardsman lore, and I feel like I'm digging some trenches. I mean, getting anywhere in the hobby is just digging trenches. Trenches of your free time. Heyo! Nice. Surprisingly, Night Lords are the least killer Space Marines. Yeah, and that also seems to be the other thing. They're just like, grr, we're evil. Okay. Jimbo's a fascist, and he's standing over there, like, alright. We specialize in terror tactics. Yeah, everybody else around you has, like, long forgotten the Geneva Convention. We clad ourselves in midnight black. Oh, like the Black Legion? Like the other fucking dark, shadowy Space Marines over there? Come on. I like your hair. Thank you. Ah. Ow. Oh, people are making friends. Love what you do. Thank you. I'm painting little men. I'm painting them. They're being painted. They're still mostly black because that's what the base coat is, but they're slowly becoming green and brown. Listening to audiobooks and painting is exactly what I do. Hell yes. I really like just throwing on an audiobook. I love doing it when I'm doing chores, like when I'm doing like the dishes and stuff like that. It's literally just like whenever I'm doing like boring repetitive tasks that I don't want to do, I'll just like throw on an audiobook. I haven't been getting I haven't been getting through them as quickly as I have been recently, so I really want to do sit down and go back to them. I've started reading them at the gym, actually. Which I guess is easier to do with the Horus Heresy books, because right now I'm just reading a bunch of like short stories, which is a lot easier to zone out to. I dislike audiobooks because most readers are abhorrently slow. In most audiobook apps, you can speed it up. I don't do that because I feel like I'm speedrunning something that I'm supposed to be enjoying, but it's possible. I almost like the slowness of like the audiobooks that I read though, so like I think it just comes down to a taste thing. Like I feel like when they read from the page, I'm being courted through a world of mystery and bullets. Daka, 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 daka. Daka. Splendid. Hard to read books when also lifting weights. That, well, you say that. I used to bring, when I was like at the gym, in like my early days, I used to bring, I used to bring a little tablet so I could read things on there. Like I had a PDF reader that would like automatically transcribe it to audiobook. So basically I was just getting audiobooks read by fucking Microsoft Sam. Get out of here. Sleep. That's a command. Oh no, we're being Team Fortress 2 shamed. Rip. Eldar, this horrifying being of steel and... Get the Servitor. Hey, Servitors are terrifying. Like, I know they're, like, normalized in the 41st millennium. But they're very scary. And I don't like them. I don't like them one bit. Rogel Dawn read the Geneva Convention to Korn. Good God. Just curious, who is your big guy? Who is my big guy? I mean, it'd probably have to be Gaz, right? Like, that's just a no-brainer, huh? Like, he's still very much a work in progress. No judge. Do not judge me. I'm working on him. Yeah, Gaz is probably my big man. I do have a Dakka jet that I've still been meaning to get to, so... He looks wooden. I was going for like a rusty brown sort of thing. The effect is more sold when I put on the shade paints and the dry brushing sort of thing. I'm making mine look like Voltron. Hell yeah! Love that wacky shit. God, my Dakka jet model is literally like covered in dust. Like I need to like put a blowtorch thing. Blowtorch? No. I need to blow all the dust off it so that I can actually like give it another layer. Although the browns are alright, the yellows are like really yuck because I've still only done like one layer of that. Blah, 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 blah. Favorite Age of Sigmar faction? I have no idea what any of them are. But if I had to make a choice off the top of my head, I know that Cities of Sigmar is one of them that's just like a bunch of commoner peasants with like trebuchets, and that's what I love. That's what I love. Nice detailing. Thank you. I have so much work I still need to do on that. Airbrush? I will never airbrush a single model unless somebody gives me $200. I don't want... I guess it's a personal thing. Like I don't have a place to airbrush. Like I can't airbrush in this house. Like that's a no-go for me. Like I've got no way to do it. Like I'll just end up spraying the walls and making a huge mess of everything. I have to stop saying that I will do things for money, because worst case scenario, somebody will send me that money and then I will need to do that thing. And that could be a problem for me. Okay. But yeah, I think airbrushing for me is like... I don't know, I like the act of painting. I like the act of painting. That's the thing that I like about it. And I think for me, like, I like having the fine manual control of the brush. I feel like if I started airbrushing things, I already have enough trouble, like, spray priming with, like, a spray can. Because what I will always do, without fail, is be like, ooh, I need a little more. I need a little more. I need a little more. Oops! Way too much. And if I have an airbrush, that's all that's gonna happen. I know myself. There's two kinds of Warhammer players. Those who paint super realistic models and those who have an army of Power Rangers. That is so true. I keep seeing, I've seen it a couple times on my Instagram at the moment. It's like this really good Gazgul paint job where he is bright pink with like Hello Kitty stickers. And instead of his classic base where he's standing on rocks and like leaning from side to side, he has been given roller skates instead. And I think that's adorable. And an absolute testament to all the chicanery orcs can get up to. Cities are really cool, especially the drunk guy on the cannon. I didn't know that guy was a thing, and I love him. I used to build models as a kid, definitely trying to get back into it. You should! It's fun! Like, it's really become like a relaxing hobby for me. And it's helped me build a bit of an audience. I don't know what to say. Sometimes I post about my weird little green men on the internet, and people laugh and clap. And I think that's a good thing. Normally, people laughing at me can go one of two ways, but I think this is mostly the good one. I think. Don't quote me. Airbrushing for me feels almost industrial. Like, I feel like I would be the same, honestly. And let's be real, I fuck up my brushes enough as it is. Having a really, like, precise tool that requires a lot of maintenance and, like, you have to lubricate your airbrush. That's too much effort for me. I can't do that, man. I ain't gonna lube no airbrush. I'm just gonna, like, break it after 2 sprays. Then I have to buy a new one. At least the brushes cost like $10. Recently built a scale USS Enterprise. Oh, hell yeah. I feel like it's a pretty logical progression for me to move out into, like, other model kits and stuff. Like, I have never been into Gundam, but now that I'm building these things, I could see it. Maybe. I love the stories you make for these guys. Hell yeah. I try to make some funny little guys, and I like giving people a funny little smile on their face. What if we buy you $40 worth of airbrush lube? Not every product can be purchased for $40. Some things, I think, cost more. But I am not smart enough to tell you what those things are. Do you want to go 34 people in the stream? Honestly, I'm not too, like, worried or fussed about it. You know? Sometimes I get more, sometimes I don't. Like, you know, we live in an age of algorithms. It's like, it's fine. I'm just a weird little guy painting my weird little things. I need a 3D printer. Warhammer is so expensive. It is expensive. But 3D printing is also expensive, you know? I think for me, like, controversially, like, I don't really mind the cost of Warhammer minis. Like, of course, I would love it. I would love it to be less expensive. But I feel as though, for, like, the level of detail in the models that you get, like, there's nowhere else on the market you can get that. Like, the models are really detailed. They're, like, really well put together. The 3D printing technology they use is really high quality. And so I think that's kind of what you're paying for. Like, unless you have a really good top-of-the-line 3D printer, in which case you're still probably going to need to spend a lot of money on, like, 3D files to print. Like, it's kind of like you're almost paying for the convenience, you know what I mean? Like, you just pick one up off the shelf, everything in there is what you need, and you just clip it out, and you do it. And that's it. Isn't it resin? Some 3D printers are resin. I think the good ones are resin. But I think a lot of them are also plastic. Resin printers are chemical nightmares, though. Like, you need proper ventilation to run those bad boys. It is quite smelly, and also toxic and deadly. Tank busters. I wonder if Games Workshop will get into their own 3D printing stuff. I don't know. You also need a bunch of software and some programming experience. Yeah, it's like it's not easy to do right out of the box. Just go to my old high school and ask them to do it. I hear some libraries have 3D printers now. That's wild. To me, personally. I think there's even some local ones. Like, I gotta look. Hey, kids, get a library card. You never know what those suckers are coming up with. Some libraries have 3D printers. Other ones have, like... They have regular printers? That was crazy to me. I just started running D&D games again recently, and I print out a whole bunch of character sheets. I didn't need a home printer. I could just go to the library. An FDM printer has been invaluable for terrain. Yeah, I hear terrain's like a really good one to, you know, 3D print. Because it's like, you know, you're really just doing like big blocky shapes or what have you. Like, you don't really need the fine, like, high fidelity detail that you would need on like a small model like this. Like, I feel like this would be really difficult to get in a modern 3D printer unless you had one of the really big top-of-the-line ones. But if you just had, if you were just doing like a big cube that was supposed to be a big rock, that'd be fine. But also what you can do with that is just get like foam. Like, you can cut out cosplay foam and like weather it a little bit. Rocks and stuff are apparently really easy to make without 3D printing in plastic. There is a guy that I follow, I could not tell you what his name is, but he is a very large, I think, Russian man, who is one of the most jacked men that I've ever seen in my entire life, and all he does is make terrain. Like, he just, like, gets on camera, screams, "Let's make terrain," flexes, and then fucking metal music starts playing as he makes, like, towers and shit. It's good. I love the internet. We need more 3D printed D&D maps. Yeah, it's... And I feel like it'd be really easy. Like, you just need to get the measurements right on, like, the actual 3D file, and you're good. You're good. My library has 4 3D printers. Jesus Christ. Take me to your city. What the hell? Yeah, I gotta see if there's like local 3D printing that I can get anywhere, because honestly, I would be very happy to check it out. Okay, I think I can just do, where's my big man? There he is. Boss knob. Terrain sells the story, so true. I have, at my place, I've got a bunch of like, they're just like flat cardboard tiles, but literally there's a bunch of like modular D&D tiles that I have that you can just like overlay on the ground to build out your own scenes and everything, and they all have their own like 5x5 grid, so you can actually like measure things out for mechanical and gameplay purposes. I found that on the side of the road. Wasn't even like, I didn't buy it from a store. I found a box on the side of the road and I was like, hey, what's in this? Dungeons and Dragons terrain. Mint condition, unopened, probably stolen from somewhere, but I didn't steal it. So that's the important thing, and you can't take me to jail for it. God. What nail polish do you use? I just buy shit that I find at the fucking drugstore. What is this? Sally Hansen Extreme Wear? It's not good. I live my life on a camera on the internet, so if you're looking at my nails from this far away, you can't see all of the microchips and air bubbles or like any of that shit, and that is what I'm banking on. Even does the Germa faces at random intervals. Is that a face Germa does? I have no idea what that was. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sally Hampton is great. It is great, and it is always on sale at Walmart. At Walmart. Yeah. Oof. Almost spilled that all over myself. That would have been sad. Will there be a future lore video for the commanders? Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? I love doing those little things. I love making videos about these little guys. It's so fun to show off my work, and people seem to really enjoy them. So as long as people enjoy the things that I do, and routinely send me $40 in the mail, I I will keep doing it forever. That's simply the case. Get the paint, get the paint, get the paint, get the paint. I use 380 positivity and 676 jealous boyfriend. Those are incredible names for nail polish colors. There's one of my favorite things is I've got like an eyeshadow palette from Morphe, one of them. I got an eyeshadow palette from Morphe, and all of the colors of like all of its things are like, you know, you go girl, or, you know, brunch with the besties, or like fucking, you know, living my best life. And I am a very large, old, cisgendered man. I'm not used to my products having that kind of energy when it comes to their branding. Like, I'm so used to cracking a can of deodorant that is titled something like, Man Spray, Boy Smell, Explosive Ibuprofen. And it's all got that same, like, black packaging that looks like it's kind of made of metal. What am I doing? I'm painting miniatures and also screaming at a camera weirdly. I don't know, man. I would like to see longer form stories of the boys' adventures. I've been thinking about it. Never say never. That's what I say. I feel like Warhammer will be a blast while stoned as hell. I mean, let's see you try to pivot and maneuver like tanks and infantry while only working with a fraction of your faculties. There are so many data sheets and so many rules of this game. You think you can really do that while zooted out of your gourd? I don't think so. Axe Phoenix and Old Spice Wolfhorn. God, that's so true. They always have charcoal in them to make them extra dark. Like, are we still putting charcoal in things that don't need charcoal? Why did we do that for like 4 years? Like, every man's product was like jet black with like black beads in it. I'm like, is this actually good for you? Is this gonna give you like weird skin conditions? Now it's sand. Good God, it is, isn't it? Okay. I am realizing just how much I like fucked up putting this first coat of brown on this guy. Like, there's so many like dead zones and stuff that I'm gonna need to go over. But that's fine, painting's the fun part. Cyberpunk red while faded was all time. Oh, good. Probably not for the guy who's trying to run the game. It's like, huh? Rules? What? It's hard to keep a track of the rules in the best of times. Are we allowed to talk about drugs here? Am I gonna get banned for this? Am I gonna get in trouble for harboring criminals? Hey, IRS, I'm not affiliated with these people. They're nothing to me. Reported. What kind of army you going for? Look, I'm just trying to cobble together enough of something so I can play. I might think about specializing after that, but I think I'm just gonna run Warhorde, which is just the general one. I haven't paid my taxes in years. Oh! Forget DACA, how much chopper is enough. I wanted there to be more chopper. I wanted there to be more DACA than chopper. Like, I wanted to be like a more of a shooty focused army, but then I realized orcs are very bad at that. So, oops. Looks like I'm gonna have to get into the choppers to begin with. Alright. Yeah, I very stupidly wanted to, like, start a bullet-focused orc army. Like, I didn't take any rocket launchers on any of my boys. I didn't Like, I gave them all big guns whenever I could. All bullets. No boom. Alright, second layer of brown is there. Still a lot more that I need to do, because I'm just gonna have to do a whole bunch of, like, thin coats on that. There are ways to make orcs more shooty. Yeah, give them all huge-ass guns. Alright. So I have gone ahead and I put my brown base coats on all of the sort of leathery sections of the boys' clothes. So I think the next step for me is probably to do like the dark rusted browns that I normally do. Which is going to be awful to do on stream. Like, you're absolutely not going to be able to see any of the detail that I'm putting on. But that's fine. But I think I'm probably going to call it there for now, because I put the browns on there. I did a good job. It's been 2 hours. I'm very hungry, and I'm very sleepy. Your tongue has the power. I know this curse. You can't get me that easily. I know what the bottom of a shoe tastes like. Don't mess with me. I almost just launched this drill bit out into the open. Anyway, so for now... Yeah, like and subscribe. That's alright. Stop watching so much pirate software. I don't choose what I get on my feeds anymore. I don't make choices about the content that I consume. It's forced upon me. Pushed down my throat by the invisible algorithm overlords who watch over me. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here for now. My base coats are brown. That's not going to focus, but you know what they look like because I showed them to you before. Alright, have a wonderful evening, everybody. Stay safe. A third thing that I was thinking about. I gotta cut my losses. I'm turning it off. I'm turning it off. I'm turning it off. I'm turning it off. Oh, I gotta press another button.